So what do you do if you're a manager and you're frustrated and burnt out? And well, your people are too. Post-COVID times are different. You cannot lead the way you used to lead. People have a new set of needs, including you as a manager. And today, you'll want to grab your pen and your notepad because we have an amazing leader here with us giving you tools, tips, and resources on how to shift your perspective and pivot your leadership style so that you're more authentic and genuine in the workplace. Welcome to Visualize and Vibe with Vivian, your space to create and step into the next version of you. Make sure you click subscribe, and any links that we mentioned today will be listed below in the description box. Now, today, our guest is a Housing Wire woman of influence, a leader who has been personally responsible for catapulting emerging leaders into new positions faster than they ever thought possible. Today, our guest is sharing tools, tips, and resources to help you pivot so that you can lead from a more authentic space. Today, I am excited to bring to you my friend, the leader of leaders, Lynley VanSingel. Welcome.
I love that intro. I'm just gonna have you go everywhere with me.
Yes. I'm so excited that you said yes to be here because you have personally impacted my life in so many ways. You see people in their future state, and that's a superpower. So I want to know, tell people about you. What's the beginning of your story or parts of your story that will help us understand how did you get to be this incredibly magical creature?
Magical, mystical.
Yes.
For me, I'm just a person like everyone watching you today, and I have had to figure things out along the way. And for me, I entered leadership kind of young in my late 20s and had a team. And I was 20 years in mortgage. So that's financial services, a little stodgy, right? Not the most progressive industry. And I just did what I saw, which was a very command and control type of leadership. Luckily for me, that does work for a little while. But what I quickly started to find was that it didn't work for me. So over time, I had to figure out how can I be me in a corporate setting that has really rigid rules when you look at a team leader, being authentic, connecting with your folks. And I guess that's what's brought me here today to this podcast with you. It's been a winding road, and I think I do things just a little bit differently than most.
You do. You do things very different. When I first met you, it was bring your whole self to work. That was one of your mantras, like bring your whole self to work. There was something that I heard Oprah say. She said when she first got started, she was imitating Barbara Walters, and she said Canada or something. So when we first step into some new shoes, it's kind of like we don't know what to do, so we just imitate somebody who's gone before us. What happened to make you say this isn't working for me and I'm going to do it my way?
I totally did that. I slicked back my Texas hair, which as you can see, I got the big hair rolling. I slicked back my hair. I put on fake pearls. And I tried to do what I saw the few women in leadership in financial services do. And I wasn't really me. So what that looked like was leaving a lot of myself at home and not being the best that I could be. I was trying to be someone else because I hadn't ever seen anyone like me, anyone as exuberant or enthusiastic or, I'll say magical. I like to sprinkle the stardust everywhere I go. And I really got to a point, although I did reach success and I climbed the corporate ladder in a very traditional way, I wasn't happy. I didn't feel like the people under me were doing all of the things that you said. I put on a pair of glasses and I can see everything that people's potential could lead them to. And I didn't feel like I was getting people where I believed their innate superpowers could get them. And ultimately, I had to break in order to shift. I know this. I'm meant to lead people. I know that I have ability to connect. And I knew that I was going to have to do things differently. So I stopped slicking back my hair. I threw away the fake pearls. I started wearing jeans and clothes that were more me. And I really started sharing my story. At that time, I wanted to be the best leader I could be. So I started going to therapy and I started letting my team know there are tools out there that I am going to embark on so that I can be better for me and I can be better for you. And it's really been a discovery of myself so that I can serve those who I get to work with every day.
Incredible. So before somebody can connect with others and have this genuine relationship with them, they have to have one with themselves.
Yes.
So it seems like to me, one of the key points that I want everybody to write down is know thyself. How authentic are you with yourself? Because if you want to cultivate a dynamic, inspiring, synergistic relationship with somebody else, you have to have that with yourself first. So one of the key things is to know thyself. Does that mean go get a coach, go to therapy, do some things that will allow you to peel back the layers of crap that society has put on you, all the roles and responsibilities for the hats that we wear, whether we chose the hats or didn't choose the hats. Who are you outside of all that? So I also want to do a shameless plug with my book. In the book, I wrote about, I went from being somebody's daughter to somebody's student, to somebody's employee, to somebody's wife, to somebody's mother. And at no point through that journey did I check in to see who am I as a woman? Who am I? Like, what do I like? I never knew at any moment from birth all the way to, I don't know, 40 something when I had the aha moment. I didn't know myself. So that was a journey in and of itself. So all the relationships that I cultivated along the way were based on the roles and responsibilities and all the different archetypes that other people put on me, but they weren't genuinely me.
I wasn't into my mid 30s, late 30s until I really paused and said, who is this person? I'm not sure I even know her. I'm not sure I like her. And that was really eye-opening for me because it took checking off a bunch of boxes of things that I thought I wanted, I thought I needed, and then I got them and the fulfillment wasn't there. And so when you are a people leader, or if you're the leader of your family, you really can't serve authentically and truly until you understand who you are.
Incredible. Okay. So once somebody gets in touch with themselves and they begin to understand who they are, what's next? Like, how does that translate to a team meeting or translate to work? Like, I had a manager who put a team building event on like 4 o'clock on a Friday. Like, that's just not something that I would do. So like, how do you translate that so that it's more connective and you understand how to vibe with your people?
It's the power of connection. I think that once you connect to yourself and you do the work of self-awareness, and you have so many amazing tools that I love that help you do that. Once you do that work, then you know that when you're working with different people, you treat them differently. There's not a one size fits all. I have team members that want to talk to me multiple times a day. They need that connection. They need to know I'm there. I have other team members, Vivian's one of them in the past. Do not call her. Do not send long emails. We want to tweet. She is so powerful and so good at her job. She doesn't need anyone to stand her up, and everyone's different. So once I could better understand myself, I could then better understand the needs of the folks on my team and serve those needs on an individual level.
Okay, so something else that is prevalent that I'd like to get some tools and tips around are conflict. When you have conflict on the team, or if there's somebody who's not really relating or the synergy's just off, sometimes it can spread and it can cause some of your top producers or better producers to begin to feel some type of way as well. What are some tips to kind of cut out the cancer, so to speak, or just what do you do to create more synergy and to kind of solve for conflict?
That just never happens, right?
That's right.
Conflict never happens. For me, I try to take the 5,000-foot view. When you know your people, you know how they react to things, right? You know who just needs to expel everything out of their mouth and body and get it out, and then they're okay, right? When you have someone who maybe hasn't even brought up the problem, right? The hidden problems, because they're a bit more introverted or they're a bit more to themselves, that's probably the conflict that I'm most concerned about. There will always be the loud folks on your team, and you hear what they're thinking. But what about the others that aren't saying what's on the table? So for me, a lot of my leadership is intuitive, right? And you can read hundreds of leadership books, but one of the things after you've connected with your team, you've gotten to know them, you understand their superpower, is how much are you listening to your intuition? Do you have a feeling that there's a problem going on back there? And what do? Do you go, well, no one's telling me anything, so I'm not going to address it? Or do you ask open-ended questions and try to see what might be going on? Those touch points and digging on a regular basis, I think is important. But I do let my intuition guide me. When I know my folks, I know when things are going okay. I know when they're just venting, which happens a lot. And I know when issues are bubbling up. And when that happens, I want to address them now before it becomes a cancer that we have to cut out.
And it sounds like what you invest a lot of your time and energy in is getting to know your team. Yes, there's a mission for the company, there's a goal that needs to be achieved, but one of your top priorities sounds like getting to know your teammates, your members of your team.
Yes. I have a question for our audience. If you are currently a people leader, how much time are you spending with your team members weekly? Are you having one-on-ones? Do you have connection points beyond those one-on-ones? Because a lot of leaders are focused on tasks, projects, meetings. Do you know what's going on in the lives of each and every one of your team members? Do you know what motivates them? Because it's different for each of them. How much of your time are you taking to make the phone call, to send the ping, to send a funny meme, or just to share your life so everyone knows each other? That is the most basic thing that I see missing in leadership today. And while we are in this new world, post-pandemic, if you want to call it that, people are craving connection and leaders are not hitting the mark.
I hope you all are writing this down because you're dropping so many nuggets. I felt that because I've been on your team before, and I know you have a following. People who have worked with you in the past, they're still connected with you because they feel that you've bought into not only what it is that they need to contribute to your project, your deliverable, your initiative, but you've bought into them, into what it is that they want to achieve and what they want to accomplish in life. Something that I witnessed you do, and I want you to talk a little bit about this, is I watched you cultivate talent in some of the members of your team when they really weren't aware that it was happening, and they began to expand to fit a new role, and then was able to get into that role. But they weren't even aware. Were they aware that they were on the track for the next thing?
No. I think when I was early in my career, I had one of my first women leaders, and all I ever really wanted to be, I'm in corporate learning and development. My life goal, career goal, was to be a training manager. That was it. Let me be a trainer. Let me hit that first rung on the leadership ladder. And she really believed in me, way more than I ever believed in myself, and gave me the confidence to move into that first role and then dream bigger. And so for me, when you look at, for those of us that work in corporate America, we have jobs that pay the bills. We have careers that are aligned to our purpose. But for me, when it's all said and done and I do a look back, I want to look at the folks that I could help, the ones that I believed in when they did not believe in themselves, when I put on my rose-colored glasses and could see their superpowers, and we leaned into that, because that has been the most fulfilling part of any job. And for me, whatever shingle you may be working under, because I've had many jobs at many different places, I think it's important that when you have a leader's heart, no matter if I'm your leader today or tomorrow, I will always try to serve you in getting you to places that you didn't even know that you would reach.
Love that. And what's a tool, because I know I was on your team at one point and you leveraged tools to help us understand who we were, and for you to understand the type of character or the type of personality you were working with. What are some tools that you recommend, or one key tool that you recommend?
One key tool is looking at strengths. I believe we all have superpowers, and I believe that we all have natural things that we're great at. And when you can assess those superpowers or strengths, and you can create jobs or put people in the jobs that are best suited to their strengths, you will get so much more out of them. They will get so much more out of their job. Just because a job makes a certain amount of money doesn't mean it's a great fit for you. You really have to be doing something that you're aligned to your natural strengths. And everything I'm saying is so simple, but we don't do it. We don't do it as leaders. We're not connecting, and we're not trying to push people into their power through their strengths.
And you had us actually use a book, and I can't remember the name of it. What was the book?
It's Strength Finders 2.0. I continue to use it. Anyone in my life has been assessed. You get your top 5 strengths, and many people look at their opportunities or the things that they're not great at, and they spend so much time trying to develop those. What if you took the things you're already great at and you put time and development into those, and you became the best of the best at those? That's my strategy with people.
I love that. Okay, so we've given so many nuggets: the self-assessment, understanding yourself, getting help, therapy if that's required, whatever you need so that you can get to better know yourself, and then investing and getting to know the people around you, and using Strength Finders. Well, I won't say what is. Is there anything else that you would want to say to this aspiring leader, maybe in a manager's role, looking to move up in the career, but feels like, I don't know if I should, and when I interview, I don't know what I should say, because I know you do all that. You do interview prep, you do salary negotiations, Lynley is the phone a friend of phone of friends, okay? So we're gonna put her information so that you can connect with Lynley on LinkedIn. But give that one person a message.
Be yourself. Take the time to find out who you are, and then be that person in the world. There is a place for you. Wherever you want to go, there's space for you. Even if you've never seen someone like you in that space, that space is waiting for you. So I want everyone to believe in themselves enough to show up who they are every single day. The world needs that from us. The world needs my quirky, funky, fun, magical self sprinkling the stardust out there, just eternally optimistic, just as much as we need the magic that Vivian brings through communication and connection. Be yourself and know that there is space for you wherever you want to go.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been it's a different type of episode, very empowering and tools, but there's something that feels really like warm. I feel like I kind of went to church a little bit. I'm like, amen. Yes. So as always, before we wrap up, we will do our visualization meditation. So if you're in a space where you can close your eyes and get centered for just a couple of moments with me, go ahead and do that. If not, press pause, come back to this later when you're not operating machinery or driving a car. But just for a couple of minutes, if you are ready, go ahead and get centered in your seat. Uncross your ankles, put your hands in your lap with your palms facing up or down, and then just allow your eyes to close and take your very first deep, intentional breath in through your nose. And then exhale through your mouth. We'll take another really deep breath in here through your nose, this time taking in more air than before. And then exhale through your mouth. This time you feel your shoulders drop down away from your ears. And now you're taking another really deep, intentional breath in here. And exhale. And on this next breath, I want you to hold it at the top. So breathe in, and then hold the breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale through your mouth. Now continue to breathe as you normally would, just maybe a little more rhythmically, allowing a little more air in and exhaling a little deeper. You begin to feel a wave of relaxation wash over your face. Maybe the tension between your eyebrows soften. Your jawline unclenches and relax as you put a gentle smile on your face. As you're continuing to breathe in this moment, I want you to feel, sense, or imagine what it would feel like to embrace you, the true you. The you that's you, outside of roles, responsibilities, and obligations. Continue to breathe and know that at a core level, the essence of who you are is worthy. Your authentic self is accepted, is appreciated, is being craved for by those around you. Continue to breathe. And as you're breathing, begin to embody the calm and the peace that comes with your true self emerging, giving yourself permission to be you in whatever iteration that is right now. You'll continue to grow, you'll continue to evolve, you'll continue to unfold, and each phase of you is worthy, is accepted. Take another deep breath in here, and exhale, and begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And as you're bringing your awareness back into your body and the space that you're in, just know that the seed has been planted. Your authentic self is not only needed for you, but the world needs it. Who you are and what you have to offer is needed right now in the time that we're in. Thank you for watching this episode of Visualize and Vibe with Vivian, and we'll see you next time.